What if the smartest people you know are still blind? What if true intelligence isn't light but shadow? The kind that doesn't just learn the world, but reads its hidden circuitry. You didn't click for motivation, you clicked because something inside you suspects there's a deeper code to power, one that no school or system ever revealed. You felt it, that silent rage, when surface knowledge fails you, when others move pieces you didn't even see on the board. Here's the truth. Genius isn't born. It's built through dark intelligence, the ability to perceive what others are too afraid to notice. It's the discipline of seeing through charm, through authority, through noise. Machiavelli warned that the one who deceives will always find those willing to be deceived. So, what if the deception wasn't out there, but inside your own conditioning? This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. What follows isn't advice, it's mental reconstruction, the quiet ignition of a mind that no longer reacts but calculates. Comment, I choose awareness, if you're ready to see through the illusion. Like this, if clarity is your weapon, and subscribe, your initiation begins now. They told you intelligence was about answers, but Machiavelli knew it was about questions, the kind that slice through illusions and expose the mechanisms of control. What most people call intelligence is just well-trained obedience, memorized systems, predictable reactions, safe thoughts. But what you're about to learn isn't safety, it's clarity, the ability to see why people do what they do, how they justify it, and where the invisible strings are pulled. Because the moment you understand the mind, you stop being ruled by it. The Stoics called it composure. Machiavelli called it calculation. Both were talking about the same thing, the art of seeing the game without becoming part of it. And that's the purpose of this initiation. Not to manipulate, not to dominate, but to disengage from illusion, to train perception until awareness itself becomes armor. This isn't darkness, it's understanding. You don't learn control to hurt others. You learn Code 1. The illusion of honesty. They told you honesty is strength, but in power, raw honesty is exposure. The truth is a weapon, and the wise choose when to unsheath it. Most people believe that being transparent makes them trustworthy. In reality, it makes them predictable. In the court of power, predictability is weakness. The brutal truth: people don't reward honesty. They reward usefulness. You can tell the truth, but only when timing makes it valuable. Picture a chessboard. The king never moves first, and the wise never reveal their full mind. The practical tactic: learn to be strategically transparent, reveal information only when it builds connection, not dependence. Your action today: speak less, observe more. In silence, you see the real motives. This isn't manipulation. It's precision, because awareness without restraint is noise, and noise never wins. The moment you master discretion, perception becomes your power. Code 2. The myth of good intentions. We've been conditioned to believe that intention purifies action, but history is filled with kind hearts that destroyed empires. The brutal reality: outcomes define truth, not motives. Your intention may be noble, but the world still judges what you produce. In modern life, this means stop trying to prove you mean well. Start ensuring your results speak for themselves. Imagine a sculptor carving marble. The stone doesn't care how gently he feels about it. Only the cut defines the form. The mindset tactic: detach emotion from execution. Move with quiet precision, not justification. Action step: shift your focus from explaining your worth to demonstrating it. Ethics here are simple: awareness doesn't corrupt, it clarifies. Because when you stop clinging to good intentions, you free your energy for real impact. Now comment, I choose composure. Code 3. The trap of emotional speed. The faster the emotion, the weaker the control. Every instant reaction is a silent confession that someone else owns your mind's tempo. Society glorifies speed, fast replies, instant opinions, hot takes. But intelligence isn't reaction time, it's response, calibration. The myth says that acting quickly shows confidence. The truth, reaction is submission to external rhythm. Every manipulator understands this. They push, they provoke, they bait, knowing your reflex will expose your center. Think about it. How many times have you said something you didn't mean just to silence discomfort? That's not control. That's conditioning. The modern example, social media arguments. Every post is a trap disguised as a conversation. When you reply instantly, you lose the frame you start playing in their emotional arena. The powerful move differently. They delay. They breathe. They let the emotional wave crash, then walk over the still water. Picture an archer. He doesn't release the arrow at the first breath of pressure. He waits until the stillness becomes accuracy. That's dark intelligence, the ability to let emotion die before you move. Pause, not because you're uncertain, but because silence reclaims command. Practice 3-second composure before you speak, type, or decide. Watch how situations that used to control you now dissolve. This isn't suppression, it's sovereignty, because the moment you decide your timing, you decide is your power. And once timing is yours, no one can move you without permission. The world bends to the calm mind that cannot be rushed. Code 4. The myth of equality in thought. You've been taught that every opinion deserves equal respect. It sounds noble, but in practice, it's mental anarchy. Machiavelli understood that perception is a hierarchy, not a democracy. Some minds observe truth, others repeat noise. The illusion of intellectual equality keeps the wise arguing with the blind. The brutal truth, not all thoughts are created equal, because not all thinkers see the same depth. When you start treating shallow views as sacred, you betray your own discernment. The modern world rewards loud certainty, not quiet, accuracy. But clarity isn't democratic, it's earned through solitude, analysis, and discomfort. Online debates are the modern battlegrounds of wasted energy, endless loops of emotion masquerading as logic. The wise don't argue, they exit the frame. Imagine an eagle arguing with a sparrow about the shape of the wind. The eagle knows altitude, reveals what noise conceals. Stop fighting for agreement, refine your perception until silence proves your point. Before explaining yourself, ask, does this person seek truth or validation? If it's validation, disengage. This isn't arrogance. It's energy management. Because discernment is a form of discipline. When you protect your attention, you protect your evolution. Those who speak less often think deeper, and those who think deeper see farther. Guard your mental altitude. Not everyone deserves access to your perspective. The more selective your dialogue, the more powerful your insight. Code 5. The seduction of comfort. Comfort is intelligence's greatest sedative. It whispers safety, but secretly robs your edge. The brain wasn't built to thrive in pleasure. It sharpens in pressure. The myth says happiness is peace. The truth is that peace without purpose decays. Dangerous. Intelligence is forged in resistance. Every great strategist, every stoic, every revolutionary was uncomfortable by design, because comfort breeds blindness. When life gets too soft, awareness dulls, instincts fade. Look around, validation is the new addiction. People seek constant approval, fearing stillness, because stillness reveals emptiness. But discomfort, controlled, intentional, is mental weightlifting. Picture iron meeting flame. The fire doesn't destroy it, it makes it unbreakable. Embrace micro-friction daily. Choose challenges that force awareness. Walk without music. Think without distraction. Speak only when it serves strategy. Do one difficult thing every day that no one notices, not for applause, but calibration. This isn't self-torment. It's strength training for the mind, because only those who walk through discomfort willingly can remain calm under chaos. The man who trains in fire doesn't fear smoke, and when the world burns, he walks through it untouched. Code 6. The illusion of fairness. Fairness feels righteous, but it's emotional architecture built to comfort the powerless. The idea that the world should be fair is a fantasy designed to pacify. The brutal truth: systems bend toward leverage, not justice. Machiavelli knew that morality without strategy is theater. Power protects itself, not principle. In the modern world, fairness is often weaponized, used to guilt the competent into silence. You'll hear people say, "That's not fair," when they really mean, "I've lost control." The wise don't argue fairness. They study structure. They understand that in every system, social, corporate, or political, the game is designed by those who refuse to play by equal rules. Look at the modern world. Promotions reward visibility over value. The deserving lose because they think fairness governs outcomes. It doesn't. Influence does. Replace fairness with functional thinking. What incentive shapes this result? Before demanding fairness, identify leverage. Who benefits? Who decides? Who gains if you stay emotional? Awareness of power structures isn't corruption, it's defense. Because once you understand the game, you stop resenting it and start redesigning your position. Life will never be fair, but it can be advantageous for those who see clearly enough to build leverage instead of waiting for mercy. Remember, morality without realism is self-sabotage. Seeing truth doesn't make you cynical, it makes you effective. Code 7. The fear of solitude. Most people chase connection because silence terrifies them. They mistake loneliness for loss when in truth, solitude is the forge of dangerous intelligence. The brutal reality: you cannot build clarity in noise. Constant input is constant control. The world wants your attention fragmented, your identity outsourced, because a mind addicted to stimulation never questions its handlers. Endless scrolling dopamine hits, disguised as staying informed. But information isn't awareness, it's consumption. Machiavelli spent hours alone, analyzing patterns in isolation. He understood that solitude breeds comprehension, the kind that feels almost supernatural. The metaphor: a deep lake. The surface is chaotic with wind and waves, but dive beneath, and it's perfectly still. That's your mind in isolation, still, but infinite. Treat solitude as strategic silence, not withdrawal, but observation. Let ideas mature before exposure. Create a daily void, 10 minutes, minimum, no input, no sound. Let your thoughts echo until they make sense. This isn't detachment from humanity, it's reconnection with depth, because only the solitary can hear truth. Unfiltered. Every thinker, every visionary, every reformer was alone before they were understood. Solitude reveals what noise hides, and the one who's comfortable in silence becomes immune to manipulation. Code 8. The final shift. From knowledge to vision. The world worships information. People chase books, videos, data, but drown in details. The myth says knowledge is power. The truth: knowledge is potential. Only vision turns it into command. The difference between the educated and the aware is distance. The educated know facts. The aware see patterns. Two people read the same news. One reacts emotionally. The other reads incentives. One becomes noise. The other sees the signal. Vision is metacognition, the ability to think above your thoughts. Picture stepping back from a mosaic at close range. It's chaos, but with distance the image appears. Machiavelli, Aurelius, and Sun Tzu all understood this, that perception, not information, determines survival. Practice the art of the pause before certainty. Before judging, deciding, or reacting, ask, what am I missing? That single question disarms illusion. Limit mental consumption. Expand reflection. 1 hour of thinking is worth 10 hours of scrolling. This isn't detachment, it's elevation. Because once you learn to see patterns, you stop being controlled by them. The modern mind is overstimulated, not over-informed. Dangerous intelligence isn't about knowing more, it's about perceiving deeper. When you see systems clearly, fear evaporates. Confusion becomes calm, and that's the final transformation. Knowledge feeds the ego. Vision frees the mind. When you strip away all the noise, the arguments, the moral theater, the illusions of fairness and belonging, you begin to see what Machiavelli, Aurelius, and every great mind truly understood. The final battlefield is internal. It was never about defeating others. It was about decoding yourself. The faster you reacted, the louder you spoke. The more you sought validation, the further you drifted from mastery. But in silence, in deliberate control, in still vision, you found your edge. That's what dangerous intelligence really is. Not cruelty, not manipulation, but awareness sharpened into precision. Every code was never meant to make you darker, it was meant to make you clearer. To move slower when the world demands haste. To think higher when others sink into noise. To see patterns where others see problems. To act not from emotion, but from alignment. Because intelligence, and without restraint, becomes chaos, but intelligence with command becomes destiny. Understand this. The world won't reward awareness, it fears it. The masses protect comfort, not truth. They will mock what they can't comprehend, and resist what exposes their illusions. But the strategist smiles. Because power was never about being accepted, it was about being prepared. So you walk differently now, slower, quieter, deliberate. You listen more. You reveal less. You start to notice how predictable chaos really is. How every outrage, every reaction, every unfair moment follows a pattern. And while they fight for attention, you build leverage in silence. This is the final transition, from survival to authorship. You stop being a character in other people's games and start becoming the architect of your own. You no longer chase understanding. You embody it. Your calm becomes your armor, your awareness, your weapon. And when the storm comes, you won't need to move fast, because you already saw it forming long before it arrived. That is dark intelligence, not something you learn, but something you remember.